I don't know about any of you, but I was not given an instruction manual for this life, right? Like, there's so much that we are really just kind of flubbing and making up. And there was a woman who, Carl Jung, the psychologist, he used to take letters from people asking for advice on things. And this one woman, she writes in the letter, and she's basically asking him for, like, how to do everything in life. She's like, how do I know if I'm doing things right? And how do I know if I'm doing the right things? And how do I know if I'm worried about the right things that I should be doing? Like, am I in the right wheelhouse here? And he wrote her back, and he's like, I can't tell you how to live because I don't know. Because none of us know. None of us know perfectly. And we also don't know where our life is really headed. Like, the only certainty is that we're going to die. Whatever else happens in the meantime is completely up for individual experience and up to change at any given moment. And there's this Neitzsche quote that I love. No one can build you the bridge on which you and only you must cross the river of life. And I think, those of us who've been in this practice together for a long time will know, like, a lot of my intention in bringing class about is not to, like, say, okay, you have to do this exactly the way that I'm saying. It's, let's examine this, let's check it out, because I know bodies really well, but I don't know your body as well as ideally you're getting to know your body. So we have this willingness to not know and this willingness to be present, and then when inevitably we do screw up, whether it's a misalignment in the body in a yoga pose, or like you say some really jerky thing to a friend, you're like, oh, fuck. What happens next is where the work is too. There's a statement in recovery, the phrase is, do the next right thing. So, okay, cool, did something weird in my body, not really serving me. Can I correct that? Can I find a better place to be? Can I go to my friend and say, hey, kind of a jerk sometimes. I appreciate you loving me anyway. And we go through these things, and we have this willingness to redirect and this willingness to adapt, because again, the path is uncertain until we've already made it. Yeah. We can only be in this moment. We really just cannot be outside of that space. We have to be right here. So then hopefully we do a little bit better and are a little bit more present and are a little bit more connected, but there will be variance to that. I'm going to do a little bit of kind of a weird shifty flow thing for a little while, and it's going to get a little odd, and you might find yourself facing the wrong way and doing strange things with your alignment, or maybe all of a sudden noticing that you're not sure when the last breath you took was, and that's okay. That's kind of the idea. That's kind of what we're going for here. So take your index finger and your thumb together. We'll start with face brushing, going to the center of your forehead, and then outwards towards your temples a few times. And then from the sides of your nose out to your temples, along your cheekbones. And from your temples down to your chin, on your jawline. And the sides of your nose down to your chin, along your laugh lines. And then massaging underneath and behind your ears, feeling for that soft spot and lifting up from the bony spot. And keeping that lift as you settle your hands down into your lap. Next time you take a breath in, nice and big through your nose. Big exhale through your mouth. Again, like that. For 3, Om. And then coming out into child's pose as your first shape. So sliding your toes towards each other and your knees apart. Crawl your hands out in front of you and then come up onto your fingertips. You can rest your head down if that is a possibility, an enjoyable arrangement so that you can relax your neck. And you've got a little bit of bend probably into the elbows. Can you roll those elbows down towards the floor and then pull your hips back just a little bit more? Take a really big breath in and breathe out. And then relax your palms down. Madam, we don't need to bark. Thank you. And then you're going to take your right hand over onto your left hand and push down a little bit more in that right hand, pulling your right hip back. Take a nice big inhale. Soften as you exhale. And then take your right hand and open it back up. Put your left hand on top of it and then push down a little bit more in that left side, reaching the left hip back. One more round of breath. And then unwind back into child's pose. See if you can crawl those fingertips out just a little bit further in front of you. And then let everything soften. Start to bring your hands in, lifting yourself up. We're going to curl the toes under here. And you can either just press back into your feet or you can push your knees up. And I'm down here on the insides of my knees. You can go for a wide foot squat if that feels better. I want you to drift your hips back. Your heels are just kind of hanging out. You don't want to have them hiked up. We're just going to let them draw back. And then your fingertips might crawl out in front of you a little bit more. And you want to try to reach in both directions, so you don't want to end up falling forward or coming all the way onto your bum, but so you reach in both ways. One more exhale. And then you're going to walk your hands in. We're going to close the knees up. And you can either stay here, maybe bring your fingertips in, maybe bring hands together. You gotta really squeeze those knees in order to keep you put together in the center. Big breath in. Big breath out. And then take your hands down, release your knees, untuck your toes, and then come up to standing on your knees. If you need to pad those knees up, please do so. Actually, let's keep the toes curled under so we get some of this under butt lift. We're going to take a little bit of a flow. Taking your left arm up, look back over your right shoulder. I've got my hand at my hip to push that hip forward. And then you're going to take a little swoop. Go ahead and drop the hips back. Take your left hand to your hip, reach the right arm up. And then swoop it again. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. You might have a little bit more room, so you might take your right hand onto your heel. You may try it out once or twice and decide, nope, not as good feeling as the hands at the hip. Keep moving. So about one more time on each side. And try to keep the underbutt lifted to get the hips forward. And then come back to center, untuck your toes, crawl the hands out, back to child's pose. One more exhale. And then pull yourself up onto your hands and knees, set up with your wrists under your shoulders, might need to adjust a bit, and then work through some cat and cow. And drop the belly and look up as you breathe in. Round into your spine, tuck your tailbone. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, drawing in. Again like that, inhale. Exhale. Inhale into the center. And as you exhale, you're going to look over your right shoulder and kind of point your tailbone over to the right. And then inhale back to the center. Exhale over towards the left. Inhale to the center, exhale to the right, inhale to the center, exhale to the left. Now as you inhale, come back to that cow pose. So I'm going to look up, lifting my tail. Exhale, look over towards the right. Inhale into cat pose. And then exhale over towards the left. Inhale, looking up. Exhale to the right. Inhale in cat pose. Exhale to the left. Inhale, looking up. Exhale to the left. Inhale, rounding in. Exhale to the right. Inhale, looking up. And if you want to take this a little bit faster, kind of rolling around through this body, you can do a couple on each side. Maybe you like just doing that side-to-side movement. Maybe you're going to get really serpentine with this and make this your interpretive dance of the day. And there isn't a right or a wrong way. It's moving your spine and moving your breath and getting yourself used to being a little weird, in the case that was not something you were already used to. And if you've got some stuff that you need to even out and kind of balance yourself, go for it. And then we'll come onto hands and knees again. And bring your right foot forward. I'm going to turn the knee and the toe out. Take your left hand forward and let your hips go forward. Push down with your right hand onto your right thigh and push down with your right foot into the floor. Let the heart lift up. Let the collarbones roll open. You can stay here or you can reach your arm back. Try not to let just the hand reach back. Reach from the whole arm, right from the shoulder out to your fingertips. Big breath in. Big breath out. And then you're going to turn your knee and your toe and try bring it in a little bit. We're going to take that right arm up. Push down really strongly into your right foot. Come up onto your left fingertip. And then keep pushing down into the right foot. We're going to lift the heart right up above your hips. And I'm not trying to get a full 6 o'clock here. I'm being honest about my, 4 or 5 o'clock kind of twist. Let out another exhale. And then turn to face towards the front. Interlace your fingers and press your palms up. Reaching from your armpits up into your hands. Push down strongly in that right foot. Big breath in. Exhale. Release your hands down. And then go ahead and take your right knee back. We'll switch sides, taking your left foot forward and then turning your knee and your toe out so you have more room for your hips to go forward. Right hand forward, right hip forward, left hand to the left thigh. Push down in the foot, push down in the hand, lift your chest upwards. Staying here or reaching the arm back. If you would like to hold on to your foot and your foot would like to be held on to, that's another option, but it's not fully necessary to stretch out the right quad. It's already happening here. Lifting your heart up, deep breath in, deep breath out. And then turning your knee and toe forward, probably wiggling it in a little bit. You're going to take the left arm up and you're going to come up to right fingertips. You've got very little weight on those fingertips until you can lift yourself all the way up. Ooh, maybe you fell over a little bit. I'm falling over a little bit. Soften your belly into this exhale. Be honest about it not needing to be 6 o'clock. And then swoop it back to the front. Taking your arms up, interlace your fingers, and press those palms up so a little bit longer through the spine, a little bit more open through the front body. Big breath in. Big breath out. And then release your arms down. We're going to take the left leg back. We're going to curl the toes under again, walk the hands back, and come into this little squat. And again, might have fingertips down. Inhale. Exhale. And hands come down. And I'm going to come into a fold at the back of my mat here. And have bent knees. Try to let the back of the legs relax, the back of the torso relax. And then bend deeply into your knees, making sure that the weight is back in your heels. You could lift your toes up a few times, and then we'll take hands up to the heart. And squeeze your thighs in together. And take a little twist over towards the right. Just a little one, so I'm not totally closed off here. I'm challenging myself to keep my knees towards each other. And then twist the other way. Just keeping the knees in, the feet in together. One more time. A little twist. And a little twist. And then back to the center. Straighten your legs. A little wiggle. We're going to come back down into this chair. This time you can take hand to your knee and hip or elbow to your knee, and then check out whether or not you did this thing or these things. Many things could be done. I want to have the squeeze of the knees in and the hips back, and then ideally reaching my ears away from my tailbone away from my ears. Let this top shoulder open, perhaps a little bit more soften your belly as you exhale. And then untuck that elbow. Go ahead and stand yourself up. Take the arms back. Interlace your fingers. Let the weight move forward to your toes. Drop your knuckles down. Lift your heart up. Deep breath in. Exhale. Relax it. Take your hands back to your heart. Your knees back into a bend. Keep those hips back. Maybe you could lift your toes. Check it. And then bring your right elbow down and check out what happened into your legs. Can you still push down into both feet? I find both feet pressing down helps to keep the rest of the lower body in a little bit better alignment. Open that top shoulder, soften your belly. One more exhale. And unhook your elbow, come on up. Bring your arms back, interlace your fingers, push the heart up and draw the knuckles down. Weight moves forward, opening up the front of the hips. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. And relax it back to center. Release your arms. We're going to take a wide step out on our mat. I'm going to do this. My head's chopped off. Great. Okay. So come wide on your mat and then toes facing forward, come down into a fold. Shake out your head. Wiggle wherever you would like to wiggle. Play with the weight in your feet, checking out whether, are you collapsing or are you pushing down? Is the weight more forward? Is it more backwards? What feels better today? Not what's the right answer every day, but today, assuming the answer could quite possibly be different, what is the answer? Where does it feel a little bit better? One more exhale. And coming on up, little bend in the knees, bring yourself up to standing. I'm going to take the legs and turn them out now. You probably have to bring your feet in a little bit. I'm going to try to set up where my knees are above my ankles and go ahead and give a quick check of that. Okay, good, because I don't want to be, here or here. I want to be pretty 90 degree about this. And then check that your knees and your toes are facing out, and it's probably not 6 o'clock. It's probably 5 after 5 o'clock or something like that, yeah? Or 10 after. And then push into the pinky toe edges of your feet. Instead of having your butt sit back behind you, I want you to keep it right in underneath you. So your whole spine is straight up and down. And you could even do, there's going to be a little bit of pulse here. And then you probably hate me and you can go ahead and straighten your legs. And I come back down, just after that little break. See if you can find that space again. Push into the pinky toe edges of your feet. Let these inner thighs lengthen outwards, and then we'll take the arms up and open here. And let the tailbone drip down. Exhale. And then inhale. Lift up. We're going to move into warrior two. Go over towards your right side, turn those left toes and adjust your feet. And once you get here, we'll move into side angle, taking your right elbow down and then push down strong through that left side. Let the shoulder blade come forward slightly. One more exhale. And lift yourself up. And we're going to switch sides. Coming out into warrior two on the left side. Make sure to tuck that back foot and check out where this left knee goes. There's a tendency for it to go in. Sometimes I've even seen it go out, like you're not fully grounding the big toe edge of your foot down. So finding that space and then coming forward into side angle. Really release that shoulder blade from the spine. Release your ears from your shoulders. Big breath in. Big breath out. And then take yourself back up. And bring the feet in together. And just a little bit more foot stretching before we go forward. Make a couple of rolls of your toes around, moving the ankle too, and then the other side. Let that go. Okay. Here's where a little bit of our flow fun comes in. Done most of these shapes, most of these movements already, so we're going to put them all together, and you're going to end up turning around and facing either way on your mat quite a bit. And I might even get it wrong. I was surprised I got it mostly, I think, right earlier today. So when that happens, when the inevitable something seemed a little bit off, come back into it. When the breath goes away, come back to it. Just working with whatever you got, seeing where you end up. You might make up a different thing than what anybody else is doing, and you're in your own living room anyway, so you're all good. Okay, take your left leg and cross it over your right leg, and then squeeze those legs back. We're going to take right elbow over left. So I've got my feathers wrapped up, or I have like that superhero V situation. I'm going to push down strong into my right foot so both of my hips go back. One more exhale. Then unwind your arms. You're going to take your left foot to the back of your mat and come into this lunge. Great. From here, you're going to take your hands down. Leave your left hand down. Take your right arm up. Now push down strong into that right foot. You can come up onto left fingertips. We're going to try to get all the way up here, where I've got my heart above my hips. And then let out an exhale. And the inhale, come back to the lunge. We're going to go into that horse stance, that Buddha squat. So turn that back heel in. And you might have to adjust your feet a little bit. They probably were not perfectly aligned for this pose. They were aligned for the last pose. We're going to keep going. Here's where the turning continues. We're going to go all the way to the back of your space, to the other side of your space, and then bring your hand to your heart and lean forward. You can always do hand to knee and hip or elbow down. Now check that didn't turn your front knee in, and if it did, that's okay. Just turn it back forward, and then you may well miss, but try to bring your right foot up to meet your left foot. Okay. And then we're going to squeeze the thighs together. I do like to have the feet exactly together whenever I'm doing these twisting chairs. And then unwind. Come to face this open side. And then same thing, same side. So cross your left leg over, cross your right arm over, and sit back. We're going to change up this first one just a little bit. We're going to send the left foot to the back of the mat and the left hand down. And then take your right arm up. Take a big breath in. And then push down strong into your front foot as you exhale up into the twisting lunge. And then inhale, high lunge. Exhale, that horse stance, that Buddha squat. Sit it down. Wiggle the feet. They need to be wiggled. They need to go to the new place. And then keep going back to that first side of your space. Big breath in. Hands at your heart. Right elbow down towards your left. And push that left foot down. I'm going to bring your right foot up to meet your left again. Squeeze the thighs together. Push your hips back. And then unwind. Come back up to the front. So now we're going to take the right leg and cross it on top of the left. Take your left arm and cross it up on top of the right. Wrap the feathers or don't. Push both hips back. Squeeze the thighs together. And make sure that you're not weight forward. Should be all back in the booty. And then you're going to go ahead and take your right foot to the back of your mat. Reach your arms up. I'm set up in this lunge. I'm going to take the right hand down and reach the left arm up. Lift those inner thighs, trying to keep your hips even. That might help a little bit. I'm going to push down into the front foot really strongly and lift up hard above your hips. Take an exhale. Inhale, facing forward again. We'll open it up into that squat. Just the feet. I do the little dance every time. Release your tailbone. Keep turning. And coming into that lunge. And then bringing your hands to your heart. Maybe your elbow comes to your knee. Maybe it's the hands. And then looking down, look where you're going. It might help. You're going to take the left foot, step it up. One more exhale. And then unwind it. Come back up here. We're going to take what are we doing? Take the right leg on top. And then wrap the left arm on top. We'll come into this eagle pose. Or twist it up. Good. And you're going to unwind the leg. As you send it back, take your right hand down. Reach your left arm up. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Push yourself up. Stay there as you exhale. Soften your shoulders. Inhale, facing forward again. Exhale into that squat. Turn the heel in. Drop your booty down. Keep turning. Back to the front of your space. Into this lunge. Hands to your heart. Lean forward. We're going to bring opposite elbow to the knee. And stepping it up. Might be a couple steps. Might need to redirect. Once you find it, relax your hips back. Unwind it. Stand it up. And then bring your hands down. We're going to go again. I'm going to take the eagle out this time. We're just going to go through all the other poses again. I'm going to go kind of one breath, one movement. If you need to breathe more, if you need to pause more, if you need to skip stuff, great. Take a big breath in. Lift your arms up. Exhale. Hold it down. Step your left foot back. Lift your right arm up. Big breath in. Exhale, stand all the way up. Inhale, facing to the front. Exhale, coming into that horse squat. Keep spiraling, keep moving towards the back of the space. Inhale, lift up. Exhale into the twist where your elbow comes to your knee or your hands come to your thigh. Stay there, breathe in. Now step forward into that shift. Full round of breath. Push those hips back. Unwind. Reach the arms up. Exhale. Hold it down. Again, left leg steps back. Right arm lifts up. Breathing in. Exhale. Standing it up. Inhale. Both arms lift. Exhale. Horse squat. Keep moving. Inhale. High lunge. Exhale, hands to your heart, elbow to knee. Looking down, you're going to step your back foot up to meet your front foot. Stay there, breathe in. Stay there, breathe out. Straighten the legs, unwind, reach the arms up. And go through the other side. Exhale, forward fold. This time, right leg steps back. Inhale, left arm lifts up. Exhale, stand up. Inhale, facing front. Exhale, pivot the feet. Keep turning, lunge facing the other way. Inhale. Exhale, hands to heart, elbow to knee. Stay there, breathe in. As you breathe out, step it forward, maybe many times. Stay there, breathe in. Long spine, exhale, soft belly. Unhook it, stand it up, inhale. Exhale, fold down. Step the right leg back. Left arm up. And then push down, lifting yourself up hard above your hips. Relax your shoulders. Inhale, facing forward. Exhale, pivoting open into that horse stance. Back to the lunge again. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Bringing your elbow down towards your knee. Nice and long in the spine. Step that back foot forward. Squeeze those thighs in together. Try to make that point of contact. And then unhooking your elbow, going all the way up. Big breath in. This time, exhale, forward fold. Wiggle your feet a little bit wider. Feel free to bend into your knees. Maybe you shift and sway around a little bit. Wiggle your feet a little bit wider. Still, we'll sit into a wide foot squat. And you can sit down, just having your feet down. You can put something underneath your hips or hanging out here. One more exhale. And then go ahead and take your butt down. We're going to go down onto our backs. Bring your knees into your chest. Yourself a little squeeze, a little rock around. Take your arms open and let your knees roll over towards the right, and then push down a little bit more into your right arm so the left side softens. Maybe you feel that twist maybe that twist develops further overhead. One more exhale. And bringing your knees over towards the other side. Now you'll relax the right arm and try to push a little bit more into the left arm so that the left arm carries the weight of activity. And then the right side has some chance to breathe, to soften. One more exhale. And back to the center. Bring your knees into your chest. Rock yourself up to a seat. And then come to easy, comfy seat, whatever you want to do. Crisscross applesauce, legs out in front of you. Grab something and sit up on it. All good. And do a little bit of hand yoga. Do some figure eights with your two-handed fist. Try to go the other way just because it's always good to check in with that pesky ego. And all the crazy ideas of what we should be able to do, and this never gets any easier for me. And then switch your hands a couple of times. So kind of like, yeah, just like, whose hands are these? And shake it out. Shake it out a lot. Okay. You let that go. I'll do a little bit of balance work. I'm going to take you through a whole bunch of things so you can kind of test out, try out for yourself of many options of stuff to do. One of the options that I'm going to say is, and it feels probably pretty good, is just to hang out in variations of squats. So you have the toes together and you have feet out wide. So you can do that. We'll throw another couple of things that might work through here though. So, bringing your toes together and your thighs together. I'm going to lift up. Maybe balance here. Now, you can also try challenging your balance like this. Another thing that we could do is side crawl. I'm going to show you there are two variations of this. Which one is right? Which one is correct? Well, they both exist in various series of yoga posture manuals. However, if you feel really bendy and not so strong, I like the two elbows on the leg variation because I feel like there's a little bit more points of contact to stay strong with. If you are not super bendy or you feel like your spine isn't very rotational, you're going to want the fingers and toes to be facing all the same way. So one variation is to come forward like this. Maybe get the feet up, maybe not get the feet up. One variation is to have elbows. But here's the thing, this one will not make contact if you don't start with it. So stick your elbow in your bum. And now my fingers and toes face 90 degrees from each other. But still the whole chest turns to come forward. And I'm going to show you what the upper body looks like in either of these positions. Here. It's the same thing. So you want your chest to be forward and your elbows to be in. My chest is here. Also, if you try to look anywhere but the floor, you will end up in the floor. Because wherever you look, your heart's going to follow. I'll show you. Look. If I look at you, notice where my torso starts to twist. Now I no longer have this in my upper body. Yeah? What? Okay. So maybe that was fun. Maybe you are quite over it. If you've got both sides to test out. If you want to pop anything into the chat or like pop up onto voice, you're welcome to. If you're like, well, that's cool, that's a thing that I might do, never. It's also fun. And then I'm going to do just a little opposing wrist stretch. So I'm going to sit down on my heels here. I've got my fingers tucked back, just gently resting these arms. Come on out, shake it around a little bit. I'm going to come back and check camel pose. I'm going to bring my hands, we're just going to stay here this time now. I'm going to go hand at my hip, one arm up, just letting the belly stretch out. You can also have hands down to your heel. Make sure to keep that underbutt up and lifted forward. Big breath in. Draw your belly in, come back to center, and then it's hand to hip or hand to foot. Hips forward, heart up. Lifting those inner thighs in too to keep the hips lifted up and forward. Big breath in. And let it relax back to center. I'm going to come forward into our Sphinx pose. Coming down with elbows underneath the shoulders. Look over your right shoulder, feel the left shoulder drawing back. Looking over the left shoulder, draw the right one back a little bit more. And taking the gaze back to the front, drop your head down. Maybe gently move the chin, ever so slightly, ever so slowly. And then looking up and forward. I'm going to take your right arm out to your right, palm facing down, left hand under your shoulder. Look to the left, relax your head, roll that left leg back. One more breath out. Switching sides, taking your right hand in, slide that left arm out, look to the right, roll the right leg back. This arm is just for support. And over onto your belly again. I'm going to take yourself back up onto your hands and knees. I'm going to step the right foot forward outside of the right hand. I want you to walk it forward as much as you can here. And you can stay on fingertips. You could come down if you have space to bring elbows down. I want you to relax into your hips. And if it feels okay in your knees and in your hips, you're going to roll onto the pinky toe edge of your foot. So the big toe edge of my foot is starting to lift up, and it's the whole leg turning over. So I've still got this alignment of ankle to knee. And then that might be down on one forearm. You might find both forearms. You might find the idea of forearms to be laughably inaccurate for where your body wants to be today. And then if you have the foot turned over, go ahead and plant that big toe edge down again. Then you're going to wiggle the foot in a little bit more. I'm going to frame the leg and start to straight-ish my leg. I'm going to lift the toes up here so I get the calf open as well. Let this right hip settle down. Big breath in. Big breath out. And then start to slide this right leg back. We're going to take the left foot forward outside of the hand. I want to wiggle it forward quite a bit, so I've got lots of room to have these legs split open. Check that you have your ankle right under your knee. Yep, good. Am I? Yep, there we go. Okay. And then once I'm there, I settle there. Rather than trying to push myself into whatever I think the shape should be, I just allow my dog to look on judgingly. Are you critiquing my pose? Would you like to try? Bring your leg up. Alright, that works too. If you want to turn that foot over, so I take the big toe edge, I let the whole leg kind of tilt over, coming to that pinky toe edge. Maybe this gives you space you didn't have with the whole foot down. And if you had the toes turned over, I'm going to plant the foot back down again. And start to wiggle the foot in. We're going to frame the foot and then find that straight-ish leg. You might keep unraveling gently and become closer to straight, or actually straight. One more breath. And draw your legs back. And we'll come down and take a seat. Kick your left leg in, leave your right leg out. I've just got this foot pulled in on the inside of my thigh. I'm going to come forward into a fold or prop myself upwards. Whichever variation feels more supported in your back. So not trying to just crouch in, really finding this hinging right at the hip. One more exhale. And coming out of your shape, just switching sides. Leg out, body goes forward, or body goes forward, but body doesn't go back here. Try to create that upwards, outwards over that, like even if that means that you bend it. One more exhale. And start to pick yourself up. Take your right knee, you're actually just going to lift it up, and maybe you cross it over, or maybe that doesn't work for you. Just leave it right there. We're going to hug onto the sides. Lift your left toes, lift your spine, soften your belly as you twist over towards the right. Let these low ribs relax inwards. One more exhale. And unwind and kick the other leg in. Soften it if that works for you. Lift your right toes so your spine stays tall. Soften the belly in. Into that rotation. One more exhale. And release that rotation. We're actually going to take this foot. You're going to come onto the pinky toe edge of the foot. I'm going to slide that foot in. So I'm bringing my foot as close as I can. I've got my knees directly on top of each other. You might even like kind of squeeze the thigh bones in. This is going to work a little bit more of the right hamstring than it will the left hip, but you'll get some left hip too. This might be the one where you take your hands behind. This is going to get more intense. Or you're able to come forward. Oh, hamstring high. Whew. And finding the breath again. Big breath in. Big breath out. And then bring it up. You're going to take your ankle onto your knee and then slide your right foot up. Might stay here. Might scooch in pretty close. And get my hands behind me to prop my heart upwards towards my shin. Big breath in. Big breath out. And you have to scoot your bum back in order to unwind that leg. And then you'll send your left leg out, and I'm going to take the right leg. I'm going to cross over. I'm on the pinky toe edge of my foot, and I'm wiggling my thighs together as much as I can. Might have to adjust some of the flesh here. And then coming out over the leg or supporting from behind. One more exhale. And coming up and sliding the leg so that you're now open with the ankle above the knee, and then touch the left foot in close, maybe really close to your hip, maybe not so close. Lift your heart up towards your chin. Big breath in. Big breath out. Have to scoot that foot away in order to take the legs down. We're going to turn the hands forward just a little and push your chest up. And then come down to your elbows and push your chest up. You can let the head go back if you like. You might try to straighten the legs. Keep lifting your heart right up into the front of your rib cage. Lifting up out of those shoulders. Big breath in. Big breath out. And gently coming back out of it. You're going to sit up. Bring your feet together, your knees out wide, and then come forward into a fold over your legs. Thinking of that lower back getting wide. Big breath in. Breathing out. And then starting to come up. If you need to sit any specific way, I'm going to just move into my crisscross applesauce again. You're going to take one arm on top. We're going to go into the eagle arm, so you can hold this where you're just pressing the elbows down. And you can bring palms together. Just keep letting your elbows drift down and forward as your ears pull up and maybe even slightly back. And by slightly back, I don't mean like this. I mean like up and long through the spine. One more exhale. And unwind, wrapping up the other way. Elbows down and forward, ears lifting the whole spine up. Expanding the back. One more exhale. And unwind your arms. You can stay seated like this if it doesn't feel good to you to come into hero's pose, but if you can come up onto your heels, go for it. You're welcome to set a block or a pillow or anything underneath your hips to make this a little bit easier. You won't be here long. You're going to take your left hand down, reach your right arm up, adjust over your nose, and we'll push into that right hip. Find the right place for your head to go. Sometimes we have it tilted back and it needs to come forward. Sometimes it needs to look down. One more exhale. And then switching sides. And a little shift out into my hips, finding the right place to put my head because it's rarely in the right place the first time. One more exhale. And then coming up. Putting the fingertips come down, lifting the chest up. And take the gaze up if that feels good too. Might have a little bit more room to walk the fingertips back. I'm not dropping back. I'm just lifting up. Big inhale. Exhale. And then you're going to come down onto your back. From here, taking your arms up, you can hold opposing elbows if that feels good. My feet are about mat width apart. Draw the toes to the shins and let those knees go over towards the right. Put your right ankle on your left knee as long as your left knee is happy with that decision. Try to soften your inner arm twist. One more exhale. Unhook your ankle if it was crossed over. Come back to the center. And then let both knees go over towards the left. You have the option of putting the foot on the knee, and you also have the option to not take that. You have the option to be kind with yourself if it turns out this side doesn't work quite the way the other one did. Or if it doesn't work quite the way it did last week that you thought it would be by now. One more breath out. And unwind that knee, come back to the center. We're going to bring the feet up, or the knees up. Rocking around a bit. And happy baby, grabbing for the feet or behind the knees. Really let those knees open up so that creates a little bit more widening into that lower back. Rocking around a bit if that feels good to you. And then taking the legs towards each other, let them extend up in the air. You can have the fingertips extending in the air too. Just a little bit of time floating upside down. If you need to move the fingers and toes to keep you present and able to stay here, you can do that, but try to be still. And let the knees fall into the chest, the arms fall open to the side. I'm going to take knees over towards the right, and then you have an option to make a little hand as a platter. Put your top leg on the platter, and then your bottom leg might slide down, and then you can look for it and find it within it. So I've got some Tibetan weaponry. I'm trying to draw my left shoulder down, kind of scissoring the legs apart. Deep, intense knot tying here. Really wringing yourself out. One more exhale. And release the leg. Come over to the other side. No. Okay. So you can take the top leg out. Maybe the bottom leg comes up. You could take one or none of these two things we're doing with our legs. One more exhale. And then relaxing and releasing these legs, coming back into the center. Snuggle your heels in by your hips, your shoulders underneath your back. We're going to push up into bridge pose. Keep your gaze up. Use the feet. Opening the heart and the hip. One more breath in. Relaxing your shoulders, releasing your hips back down. And you might decide that you have another pose or movement that you need to attend to before you come into Shavasana. You could let your knees knock against each other. Set yourself up however you need in order to enjoy this beautiful period of rest. You start to come back to your body, taking some deeper breaths. You might make some small movements that help you to wake up again. When you're ready, rolling yourself over to one side, pausing for a moment of gratitude for your practice, for having the opportunity to share this together. And when you're ready, finding your own version of a comfortable seat, I want to read a little something to you. A woman who writes The Marginality, it's a nice newsletter that I enjoy perusing. Is that in recent seasons of being, I have had occasion to reflect on the utterly improbable trajectory of my life, plotted not by planning, but by living. We long to be given the next step and the route to the horizon, allaying our anxiety with the illusion of a destination somewhere beyond the vista of our present life. But the hard reality to bear is that death is the only horizon, with numberless ways to get there, none replicable, all uncertain in their route, all only certain to arrive. This is why there are infinitely many kinds of beautiful lives, and this is why each and every one of them, even the most seemingly actualized, trembles with a staggering degree of doubt and confusion. Uncertainty is the price of beauty, and integrity is the only compass for the territory of uncertainty that constitutes the landmass of any given life. And so the best we can do is walk step by step, intuitively right step until one day, pausing to catch our breath, we turn around and we gasp at a path. If we had been lucky enough, if we had been willing enough to face that uncertainty, it is our own singular path, unplotted by our anxious younger selves and untrodden by anyone else. Thank you for treading on this path with me. Feel practice with an Om. Deep breath in. Bowing down to the love, the light, and the darkness that resides within each of our hearts. Namaste. Thank you, friends. Let me know if you have any questions about anything.